Hi, and welcome to the first episode of Being Bubbly. I'm Taylor, and if I'm being honest, you probably already know that because you are most likely a family member or a friend of mine. And for that, I love you and thank you for the support. If for some odd reason you do not know me and I do not know you and you have stumbled upon this episode, thank you so much for clicking. And I am so excited to go on this new adventure with you. So let's get into it. A little bit about me, because I did read in all of my research that you do need to share some things about yourself with the audience. One thing about me is nothing gives me more anxiety than knowing I have to talk about myself for like 30 seconds or come up with 3 fun facts about myself. So I'm hoping that you learn all you need to know throughout these episodes and get to know me a little bit as I kind of just chat about all things. But to get us started, like I said, my name is Taylor. I am 32 years old. I am married. I met my husband, Kevin, my God, like 13 years ago. We currently live outside of Boston. I was born and raised in Connecticut, so I am a true New England girl. And we have a daughter named Millie. She is literally the best thing ever. And she's going through some really fun phases. She's really testing the boundaries, really fresh and sassy, keeping us on our toes. But we love her and couldn't imagine life without her. That's really all I've got. Like I said, that literally gives me so much anxiety talking about myself like that. So we're going to see how well this goes, podcast with myself. But yeah, I am really excited, and I feel like I need to put a bit of a disclaimer out there and be very transparent with you all. Have no idea what I'm doing. I have never been on a podcast. I have never set up a podcast. This is all brand new to me. I did not go to school for digital media, podcasting, anything like that. I actually don't even know if this is digital media, to be honest with you. I went to school for education. I was a teacher and then administrator for 10 years total. I still work in education, but I kind of transitioned over to the dark side a little bit. I currently work from home on the education curriculum consulting side. And let me just say, it is life-changing. I wake up, I have my coffee, Millie has her Milkies, and we watch the Today Show together every morning. It's fantastic. So yeah, long story short, don't know what I'm doing. I'm horrified at how long it has taken me to set up said studio. I Googled and researched, and I honestly don't even know if this is even working. We're at like a 50-50 shot here. So hopefully at the end of this, I will have something that I can go back and listen to and upload. But other than that, I want to go ahead and jump right in. Oh, by the way, if you do not already follow me on social media at Being Bubbly Pod, please do. Similarly to my podcasting skills, my content creation lacks. I am brand new to it all. I will say I'm having a lot of fun doing it. I've gotten better at making some of the videos and posts. You will notice several spelling and grammatical errors throughout my content. My sisters love to let me know daily on all the mistakes that I make when I post. But like I said, it's been really fun. And if you do not already follow, please go ahead and give us a follow at Being Bubbly Pod at both Instagram and TikTok. And I say give us a follow as if I have like a whole team. It's just me and a couple of family members that are able to help me with basically all the things because I don't know what I'm doing. But that's all right. Here we go. You are probably wondering why I'm doing this. Where is this coming from? Why now? Why start a podcast? And those are honestly all very valid thoughts. I think about them often and ask myself those questions daily. So to kind of bring us back to the start of the idea of doing a podcast or doing something, this has honestly been in the making for well over a year now. I'm pretty embarrassed that it's taken me this long to actually execute on doing something, but here we are. So to kind of start from the beginning, so this was an idea. And at the time, I did not know that I wanted to do a podcast. I originally thought, maybe I'll write a blog or journal and maybe do a book or a podcast. And I very quickly realized that I am not a good writer. I have a terrible vocabulary. I was a teacher. I focused on STEM instruction. Writing, spelling, all those things are not my forte. So very quickly, I eliminated a blog or book situation. And that basically left me with podcasting, which I feel like fits perfectly. I love to talk. And fun fact, when I was little and growing up, I obviously wanted to be a teacher, but I did have two other career goals in mind. One was a CVS cashier. Always wanted to work at CVS. That never happened. So that kind of goal and dream of mine was washed away. However, my second goal, I basically wanted to be Kelly Ripa. I wanted to have my own talk show with Regis Philbin, and I just wanted to sit there and chat and drink my coffee and look really pretty. So although my CVS dream did not work out, I feel like this could be a way where I could live out my talk show host dream. But to circle back to why we're here. So again, I thought about doing something over a year ago, and this idea came to me when I was going through the most challenging and difficult and confusing transitions of my life, and that was becoming a new mom. And at the time, I did not have the experience that I thought I was going to have. I did not have the feelings and emotions that, I had dreamed of having and that I thought I was going to have. And unfortunately, I had a pretty traumatic birth experience and story. That started with a 2-week hospitalization for preterm labor. Started at 32 weeks. And then I ended up having my daughter at 34 weeks, which of course was followed by an extended NICU stay. So obviously going through that time was really challenging for me. And to be honest, I think I blacked a lot of that out. And I'm still kind of processing those feelings and emotions and all of everything that happened during that time. God bless my therapist. But from what I can piece together and what I do remember about that time is I felt so alone and I felt so ashamed of all of these different emotions and feelings that I was having because my experience was not what, I ever saw on social media. It was not something that I ever thought would happen to me. And of course, I am so blessed. I had the absolute best support system from my husband to our families to our friends. I could not be more grateful for kind of our village that took us in and surrounded us. But even with that, and even with all the love and support I was getting, I just remember feeling like a shell of a person when I was, either lying in bed recovering, or my husband and I spent a month driving to and from the hospital 2-3 times a day. So when you're doing that, all you're doing is thinking and reflecting. And I just remember feeling so alone and feeling so ashamed. And all I wanted was to be able to talk to someone, or I just wanted to be able to listen to someone where what I was feeling, I felt validated in that, or I could relate to someone else and their experience. I was the first within our families to have a baby, and honestly, the first within our core friend groups to have a baby. I did have a couple of amazing mom friends through work that I was able to kind of lean on and get advice from, but I really didn't have anyone that had the experience that I was going through with preterm labor and NICU and all of that. And that was really challenging. And I had my mother-in-law and my aunt both had preemies and with extended NICU stays. So, they of course were able to kind of help me through that lens. But even though I had so much love and support around me, I was numb. And I just remember thinking and wanting something, a community that I could reach out to or some sort of outlet that I didn't have and I didn't have access to. And so that kind of got me thinking, like, I really wish. So that kind of got the wheels turning of like, when I get to the other side of this, I really want to think about this and unpack this because, I do think there is kind of a future with this and kind of sharing your story and normalizing those emotions and feelings and experiences, specifically experiences that, people don't talk about on social media or people don't share. And I think that that is really missing in society because now that this has happened to me every day, I feel like now I'm just kind of in tune with it. And I see a story or I see something on social media of someone going through something similar. And it's the same emotions that they're feeling. They're confused. They were unaware. They were unprepared. All those things that I was feeling. So really wanting to think about like, how can I normalize those conversations a little bit more? I am a huge podcast fan. I listen to podcasts every single day. I am a Bravo loving reality TV freak. Watch it every day. That's like my go-to. And again, during this time, I found that the podcasts that I listen to every day, the shows that I was watching every single night, the content and what I was watching wasn't doing it for me. I wasn't able to relate. It wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't what I needed. And so I spent honestly a lot of time in just silence, which was not very helpful, but just part of the reason as to why I really started to think about, I want to create something where that content is out there and someone who's going through something feels like they are not alone and that they feel validated and heard. And so that's kind of where this whole thing started over a year ago, and have spent a lot of time kind of thinking about it, going back and forth. And that has ultimately led me here, and I am so excited and have no idea where this is going to go. I'm very in tune and very aware of the podcasting state, and it's super flooded with millions of podcasts out there. So if this is, I, I feel so cheesy saying this, but I will say I genuinely believe this. Even if this episode or this podcast can help one other person, like that brings me so much joy and so much purpose because I was that one person that needed it and I didn't have it. And so, again, I don't know where this is going. I don't know, what's next after the first couple of episodes that I have planned out, but it's something that I kept being reminded of it, and I kept seeing all these little signs of like, Taylor, you really got to do this. Like, sit down, make a plan, and let's see where this goes. And here we are. So really excited for that. So now that you have a little bit of the backstory, you are probably wondering, okay, where does Being Bubbly come into play? Why is this called Being Bubbly? So the reasoning behind Being Bubbly is threefold. Number one, and this is where my basic bitch side comes out, so I apologize, but I am a sucker for a crisp, cold glass of sparkling rosé. Champs, got it right here. Need a little liquid courage. Yeah, I love a glass of champagne. Brings me joy, brings me happiness. Enough said. Number two, or anyone who knows me knows that I am a bubble bath queen. I am a huge advocate for and believer in self-care. And I really believe that like my most zen self is when I am in the tub, got my bubbles, I've got my little duck thermometer, which by the way, moms, if you know, you know. If you're not a mom, that's okay. This is my plug. Get one of those little rubber duck thermometers on Amazon. They are the best. I don't know. I just like seeing how hot the water is when I'm in there, and they're cute. Uh, and my favorite scented candle. And I am like my happiest, most zen self. It's where I do my best thinking. It's where I do my best crying. I come out of the bubble bath every time like rejuvenated, refreshed, ready to go. And I will say this, you could tell a lot about a person where they are mentally, emotionally, based on the music that they're listening to in the bubble bath. Currently, I'm in a Gracie Abrams kind of like alternative vibe. I don't know. My default's always Taylor Swift. I very recently, probably about last week, was in, and this will explain a lot, I was in a mood where I was listening to the Walk to Remember soundtrack. A lot of tears, had to bring a couple glasses of cab in the tub with me on those days. But yeah, sometimes you just need a good cry. If I'm feeling nostalgic, one thing about me, I love anything nostalgia. I'm a 90s girl. So I will sometimes put on like a thousands rom-com playlist. Thank God for Spotify because they have the world's best playlists. And I am not afraid or embarrassed to state that one of my go-to and all-time playlists is the Disney Channel After School playlist. You can't go wrong with Hannah Montana and High School Musical. And no judgment, judgment-free zone. But I will say, music, bubbles, the tub, you are a much better person when you come out. I truly believe that. And number 3, which is probably like the most meaningful reason as to the name of the podcast, and what I hope will kind of tie this all together for you and with a pretty little bow, I am a people pleaser. That is my toxic trait. I am working on it in therapy. I've been a people pleaser probably my whole life. So I care way too much about what people think of me, what people say about me. So that's just something that's always in the back of my mind. And when I was little, a word that just happened to stick out to me was bubbly. And that's just always been a characteristic or a word that's, I've identified with throughout a majority of my life of just being a bubbly person. And to me, that's like super charismatic, positive, fun, kind, silly. And so I always loved when people would say like, oh, she has such a bubbly personality. And that was something I was always so proud of. And that was something that I always, when meeting someone or, when I walk into a room, like I want to bring that energy. I want to bring that personality to the table. Something I've noticed in my late 20s, early 30s, especially this past year, I have found that I have lost a sense of myself kind of as I've transitioned through my 20s and 30s, and specifically like this idea of my bubbliness. Obviously, like postpartum, that's, that aside, I would say when you're in your late 20s, early 30s, you go through some incredible milestones in your life. And for some people, it's, graduating college, getting their first job, getting engaged, getting married, starting a family, buying a house, like all these different things. I've had all of those different milestones happen for me, and they've all been wonderful, but I've really found that like when I dig deep into each one of those and how I felt and the emotions I was feeling and all of those things, there's so much stress and pressure and so much behind the scenes shit that people don't talk about. And again, like you'll hear me say this, social media can glorify so much for us. I contribute to that 100%. And all of these different kind of phases in my life have felt so unprepared. I've felt so unaware of like the realities of it all. So because I've always felt this sense of confusion or unpreparedness or being ashamed, I feel like I've kind of chipped away at myself and kind of, my identity or my personality or however you want to describe it. And I've really found that I am just struggling to recognize who I am or, who I want to be in this new phase of life of being a mom and having a family and all of that. But like I said, this idea of having like a bubbly personality is something that I want to carry with me on, throughout life. So selfishly, one of my goals for doing this is like, this is an outlet for me to kind of share where I'm at in hopes of, getting my bubbliness back, or, this is a place where I can really regain that sense of self of like who I once was, and then also who I want to be in the future. So yeah, that's my reasoning for the title, Being Bubbly. Okay, so what is next for Being Bubbly? What to expect? I am really excited to get at least one episode done and dusted. I have some episodes where I'm going to really break down kind of my experience with pregnancy, with obviously my birth story and experience there, with NICU, with postpartum, and with having a toddler. So obviously a lot of things centered around, being a new mom. And I really want to focus on normalizing some of the things that, we might not see on social media or that we might not talk about. So, bringing to light the good, the bad, the ugly, and all, and everything in between. I'm really excited to share my experience with hopes that at least one other person feels seen and valued and knows that they have someone that, they can relate to or reach out to. I think bigger picture is I want to create a community where people can come and, I have a library of different episodes that kind of talk about and go through all of these different changes and milestones that I mentioned before in life. And no matter where you are, you don't have to be a mom, you don't have to be pregnant or going through postpartum. But I want to create a space where you can go and, let's say you are getting married, right? That's, supposed to be the happiest time of your life. And it's literally the most stressful time of your life. It's a beautiful thing, but it has its downfalls when it comes to like wedding planning and all of that. So I want someone who's going through that to be able to come and listen to an episode and hear me or hear others talk about, what really goes into wedding planning, what to focus on, what not to focus on, because you're never going to remember it. And I just think of, there was so much emphasis on, and I had so much pressure and stress on like the florals and how many candles were on the table. And I couldn't even tell you or remember what anything looked like. So just like things like that, realities that we all face every day, and that we all kind of think in our head of like, oh my God, I must be the only person that's feeling this way, because no one ever talks about it. So I want to create a space where people can come and listen to an episode and again, feel like they can relate to something or someone, get a giggle. I'm planning on bringing my authentic self to every single episode. And with that, I think comes a little bit of silliness and humor and everything in between. So yeah, really exciting. And to kind of start us off in our first Being Bubbly segment, I posted on our social media page, Being Bubbly Pod, at Instagram and TikTok. So I posted for people to share some questions that they want me to talk about on today's episode and on future episodes. But I wanted to answer a couple of questions that I hope will let you get to know me a little bit more and get to know kind of the goals for the podcast. So let's pop some bubbly. It's kind of warm, and answer some questions. You'll see I have my little Being Bubbly cards. So first question. Oh my God, why did I choose this one? This is like a loaded question. Favorite parts of being a mom and parts of being a mom that you struggle with. So I'm a little mad at myself because obviously I saw these questions ahead of time and I didn't prep or prepare to answer these questions. So let's see how this goes. And I know what's going to happen. I'm going to answer the questions and the podcast. And then like tonight, I'm going to wake up at 1 a.m. and be like, oh, I should have said this. I should have said that. But that's all right. That's what future episodes are for. So favorite parts of being a mom. Oh my God. I mean, the fact that I just have like a little built-in best friend for life is one of my favorite things. And the fact that I have a daughter who I can dress in all things Lily. And like, I'm such a pink and Lily girl. So the fact that I have a daughter that I can do that with is amazing. Honestly, just like it's the little moments for me. It's when I'll look across the room and she's about to get into something that she knows she shouldn't be getting into. And I catch her and she turns and looks at me to see if I'm watching her. And then she'll continue to do said thing she's not supposed to do. It's like little moments that like that they're so funny. And I think just when she makes me laugh, like half the time she does stuff, Kevin and I like have to turn our heads because we're like, we can't, be encouraging this, but that's really funny. Those are the moments I think that I love. And just like having our own little family unit. Like I said, Kevin and I met 13 years ago. We were 18. And so we've gone through our whole adult life together. But now entering this new phase of just like creating this family and seeing how we both are as parents and seeing how we're both so different as parents has been really fun. And honestly, I think for me, like I'm very, very close to my family. We have a family group chat that goes off all day, every day, mostly just pictures of Millie and the dogs. But I'm so incredibly close to my family and so incredibly close to my in-laws. They actually live 5 minutes down the road from us, which is amazing. And so I've made it so long without crying on this episode. I'm very proud of myself. But I think not only watching Kevin with Millie, because he's such an amazing dad with her, but I think watching like my parents and Kevin's parents and my sister's brother and watching them become aunts and grandparents has been really special. Millie is so blessed. She has the 3 best aunties. She has an amazing uncle. She has the best grandparents and she has 2 great grandmothers, and just getting to experience and make memories with all of us. And she's in the center of it all, I think is one of my most favorite things. Things that I struggle with. Oh, that honestly, I love to take naps and I love to sleep. So like getting up, like Billy's our alarm clock every single day. And so I will say she's been very kind to us as of late, where she'll sleep in till like 6:30, 6:45. But like sometimes if she wants, she'll wake up at 5:30 and you got to get up. So I think just like the lack of sleep and just being tired struggle, I think, and this is me still kind of processing and going through postpartum and all of that, how differently I feel as just like a human. And not in a bad way, but it's just something that I really working through. Those feelings. I am someone who obviously I had like a very different experience with early postpartum, being that, Millie was in the hospital and I was, home and going back and forth. So my postpartum journey, I think, was a little bit altered and affected by that. But I think I'm struggling with now is, being 15 months out and feeling the effects of postpartum depression and feeling things later than I thought I was going to. Like I thought I was going to really struggle in the beginning and then be okay. And I think, I did the best I could in the beginning, granted everything that was going on. And then in the middle, again, kind of did the best that I could. And now that things have kind of calmed down and, she's reached 1 and we're kind of in a groove, I'm finding that I'm having a lot more anxiety and things that are related to postpartum later on than I had expected. So I think that's been a struggle. The next question, what are you most excited for with Being Bubbly? I feel like I probably answered this kind of throughout the episode. Again, I really just want to create a place where people can come and listen and giggle and laugh and feel like, yep, I had that same thought, or I'm so glad that someone else is, feeling the way that I'm feeling, because for so long I was so ashamed about it and in my own head about it. I also think too, like I've really been on like the social media aspect of Being Bubbly for just like a couple of weeks. But I've honestly been having so much fun with creating content. Like I said, it's not good, but I do like find a joy in that. And like I wake up and I'm like, okay, what am I going to do today? So like that's given me a little bit of a pep in my step. So I'm really excited to kind of see where some content goes. I've had a couple brands reach out. I've reached out to a bunch of brands. my follower count is a little low. So, give me a follow. But I think just like, I see these other, whether they're podcasters or influencers or whatever the heck they're doing, but I just see, what they're able to do on social media. And I just find it fun and relatable and silly. And I'm really excited about that. And I'm really excited to just like talk about random shit that we all are thinking and we all live every single day. And yeah, I'm a very chatty individual. And so sometimes you just want to talk it out. So really excited for that and to create kind of a platform and a community that is all about positivity and authenticity, being your true authentic self, while at the same time, like being true to the realities that we all face every single day. And that kind of leads us into the next question. So goals for the podcast. I guess I probably should have written out goals to start. I guess the first goal is to end this episode and make sure that this actually recorded. So that's goal number 1. Goal number 2 would be to record a couple episodes and then get them uploaded to, I think I'm going to do YouTube and Spotify. Again, you would think after having like a year to think about this, I would have more of my ducks in a row than I do. But that's okay. I'm a fly at this, what's the saying? Fly at the seat of your pants? I don't know. But I'm that kind of gal, so we're just going to go with it and wing it and see where it goes. But if this is something that builds, kind of a little community and following, I'd love to have people come on and, kind of share their thoughts based on the topic. As much as I love chatting to myself, I'd love to chat with others. I will say, though, I did get a haircut today. And so looking at myself in the camera, I have enjoyed. I think she did a really nice job. I would like to be able to look at someone else and chat with someone else. So yeah, I think those are my goals. And then get better at social media and content creation and not make as many spelling errors. I'm working on it. Dream, sponsor, or collab. Okay, so this is like, I'm manifesting here. Dream, sponsor, or collab partnership. Well, Lily Pulitzer is my all-time favorite designer clothing brand. I mean, if I were to open my closet door, and I won't because I think Kevin's laundry's in there. If I were to open my closet door, you would see Lily after Lily after Lily after Lily. They are my all-time favorite. I don't even know if they do sponsorships, but like I would love to do something with Lily Pulitzer. That is like a dream of mine. Like this is me manifesting at like all powers that be. That would be huge. Skincare, because that's, what all the girlies are doing these days. Tula. I'm a sucker for a discount code. In fact, I have texted my sisters twice in the past, I think, week, asking, does anyone have a Tula discount code? So I think getting my own Tula discount code would be very cool and pretty monumental because I do spend a lot of money on Tula products. I love them. I am also getting into different sorts of makeup and things. So very much new at this, and I will work with whoever wants to work with me because I think this is really fun and I love to talk about stuff that I like. And yeah, if someone's going to send me free shit, I'm not going to say no. So yeah, that's what I would say. But yeah, Lily Pulitzer, like I'll pay, I'll do whatever, but just to like be able to work with you, I think would be a huge goal of mine. Dream guests, again, manifesting. So there's a few that I think I would love to chat with, specifically on like motherhood and pregnancy and birth stories. There's a few people who I feel like have had similar experiences. Jenna Sims, she had a baby, pretty similar pregnancy and like birth experience. Same with Sophia Richie. Again, like I have absolutely no skin in the game to get either of them. I've been loving Cameron Oakes Rogers. She kind of podcast has blown up. And I just am loving the content that she is creating. So I would love the opportunity to kind of chat with her. More so to kind of just learn about, what's worked really well for her. I am a toast girly. So the queens, Jackie and Claudia, like I would absolutely love the opportunity to honestly just meet them. I've listened to them for 6-7 years. I'm like a toaster OG. So that would be huge. I know there's going to be people I'm forgetting. This one's kind of random, but this is like the Bravo in me. And I feel like this, my husband would love. Jerry O'Connell. I love Jerry O'Connell. He knows all things Bravo, him and his wife. And I always am watching him on Watch What Happens Live. He's had like cameos in Housewives of Beverly Hills, but he's kind of doing this like podcast tour where he's friends with the guys on Pardon My Take, and I am a secret Pardon My Take fan. My husband listens to it obviously every day, but when we drive up to Vermont on Fridays in the winter, he always has to have that on in the car, and I always like throw a fit that I don't want to listen to it, but secretly I actually do enjoy listening to it. And Jerry O'Connell is always a guest on there. So it's funny to hear him like in his like Bravo universe and then also with his like sports buddies. So I feel like he would be really cool, and of course have to chat about him in Kangaroo Jack. Fun fact, my birthday party, I don't remember what age I was going to the theater to see Kangaroo Jack. So big Jerry O'Connell fan. And other than that, honestly, anyone who wants to come on and talk to me, I would be very open to that. Again, I like to talk. Okay, we'll close out with a couple favorites. Oh my God, I've been talking for 48 minutes. This is gonna be really fun to edit. So, couple favorites about me. I don't know, what do people want to know? Favorite movies. Pretty Woman, hands down, #1 all-time favorite movie. Also goes with the bubble bath theme because her in the tub with the headphones is iconic. Favorite food and drink. I am a French fry girly. I am basic. I love a French fry with the Caesar salad and a glass of rosé. Depending on the season, rosé season is predominantly April to, I would say, the end of August. After August, it becomes cab season for the winter. And then I break out the rosé. So those would be my favorite drinks. Music, I don't know, whatever mood I'm in. I mean, you can't go wrong with Taylor Swift. Millie's favorite song is Pink Pony Club. She loves Pink Pony Club. And Coco Melon. So we have a lot of Coco Melon playing in the car, which honestly is not that fun for me, considering it's just on repeat all the time. And then, yeah, favorite brand, someone asked. I feel like I said before, I mean, it's one and done. You know, I'm a Lily girl. I'm a sucker for a floral print. I don't know. I'm going to wrap this up because I've been talking for 49 minutes and it's time to go. But I am so excited for what is next. I am so excited for future episodes and what is to come with Being Bubbly. So cheers to Being Bubbly. Bye.